Hello everyone, and welcome to Bob's Garden. Today I'm going to talk to you about my water garden, a koi pond. I designed this and built it about 20 years ago, and it's a liner pond. It's got a rubber liner. It's a 45 mil liner. Now these days they have 35 mil liners that are even stronger than the 45 mil, so you probably wouldn't be able to find a 45 mil liner, at least not one inexpensively. So I dug this out by hand, and that's the way it should be done. A machine would overdig it unless you're doing a really huge one. And in the design, we like to make this look natural, so we have different ways of doing this. If we just dug a hole and filled that with water, it would not look natural. So it's like a real pond, real water scene. We have various shelves in here. So around this area up there, we have a shallow shelf where those plants are coming up, those irises, and there's a pot under there, but it makes it look like it's actually growing in the pond. So there's a shelf there, there's shelves all around here, and then it's down to about 3 feet. Now, to figure out how many gallons of water in this, we take the width by the length by the depth, and we multiply that together to get a total cubic feet. And then we multiply that by 7.48. That's 7.48 gallons in 1 cubic foot of water. And when we put that all together, I have about 2,000 gallons of water. It's closer to 1,800, somewhere in there, but it gives me an idea of how much water is in this pond, and that's important because when we're choosing a filter for this, we want to be able to turn this over at least once every hour. So there's this is 2,000 gallons, there's a 4,000 gallon an hour pump here, so this gets turned over every half hour. So we have a pump down in here, it's difficult to see, and we have a tube that comes all the way underneath these stones and all the way up to that waterfall. Now when we designed the waterfall, we also did it in a way to make it look natural. So the water just doesn't come straight down, it pulls up. We call the headers. So the water pulls up and then it comes over the various falls. So these are all factors that are important for designing a garden. So I'd like to show you some of the things that most people don't get to see when they come visit my garden. I'm going to show you the filter, and we'll show you the stream. So over there is our backwash filter. The water comes from the pump all the way around to the back front of this, and that's the pump, and then there's a shorter return that comes out underneath this part right here. And you can see as the water comes over, it pulls up in various places before it spills down. So that's a good design hint for you. That filter will filter out this amount of water. It's 2,000 gallons. It actually has a 4,000 gallon capacity, so it's over designed, but I can actually change the volume of the water. I have a switch, and if I want to have less water or more water, I can adjust that. So we'll show you that. Now, not all ponds need this kind of thing, but I can change this. You can see I can have a greater amount of water coming through here, and we bypass the filter when we do that. If we want this to go into the filter, then we'll back off a little bit on that. So we have our koi in here. I've had these koi over 20 years. When I first got them, they were only about 6 inches long. They can live to 60, 80 years and even longer. So these are over 20 years old. And there are a few babies in there. We can't see them now. They tend to hide. And these koi stay in the pond all year round. Even though we're here in the northwest hills of Connecticut, this pond will freeze over. So I have a compressor and a bubbler that keeps the ice open pretty much throughout the entire winter. It will close over entirely, but there'll be a dome of air in there. and they sleep all winter long, and then they'll wake up in the spring. And one of my great pleasures here is to feed them in the morning and feed them in the evening. I use a staple koi food for them, and there's really not all that much more to do with that. Basically, when you're designing a pond, you don't want to be at the bottom of a slope, because water can be coming all the way down and it can put mud into the pond. And I would have preferred not to have this huge oak hanging over the pond, because I get a ton of leaves in the fall, and I do have to scoop that out with a net. And in addition, I use a chemical called Pondzyme. We'll use that throughout the year. It will eat up it's bacteria that eat the silt and keep the water very pure. And so that's about it. There's nothing much more to know about this. It's high maintenance, I'll tell you that. You don't want to be building this unless you're going to have time for it. But there are ways to make this less maintenance, and one of them would have been to have this not under an oak tree. So we enjoy this very much. It's a feature of the garden, and I just wanted to show that off for you. So thank you for watching Bop's Garden, and we'll see you next time. Please share, subscribe, and comment on my videos. And remember, be curious, not judgmental.